Have you ever looked back at a moment in your life and realized that one small decision changed everything? A conversation you almost didn't have. A person you nearly ignored. An opportunity you almost rejected. At the time, it seemed insignificant. Yet months or years later, you could clearly see how that single moment redirected the course of your life. Now consider something even deeper. What if those moments were not random? What if every experience, every challenge, every success, and every disappointment was connected through invisible laws that are constantly shaping your reality? What if the life you are living right now is the result of countless causes set in motion long ago? And what if the choices you make today are quietly creating the future you will experience tomorrow? Most people move through life believing events simply happen to them. They believe they are victims of luck, circumstance, fate, or coincidence. When good things happen, they call it fortune. When bad things happen, they call it unfairness. Yet the greatest philosophers and wisdom traditions throughout history have taught a very different lesson. They understood that beneath the surface of everyday life exists a powerful principle governing human experience, the principle of karma. The word karma has been misunderstood for generations. Many imagine it as some mysterious force waiting to reward good behavior or punish bad behavior. But karma is far more profound than that. Karma is the law of cause and effect operating within human life. It is the understanding that every thought influences action, every action produces consequences, and every consequence eventually becomes part of our future reality. Nothing exists in isolation. Every event has roots. Every outcome has a cause. Every harvest begins with a seed. The Stoics understood this truth deeply. Although they did not use the word karma in the same way, their philosophy reflected many of the same principles. They believed that character shapes destiny. They taught that our choices determine the quality of our lives. They emphasized responsibility, self-discipline, wisdom, and virtue because they understood that every action leaves an imprint on the future. This understanding can be both empowering and uncomfortable. It is empowering because it means you have more influence over your life than you may realize. It is uncomfortable because it removes excuses. Once you understand karma, it becomes difficult to blame everything on bad luck. You begin to see that many outcomes are connected to patterns, habits, attitudes, and decisions repeated over time. A person who spends years developing discipline eventually appears successful. Others may call it luck, but they do not see the thousands of invisible choices made behind the scenes. A person who constantly nurtures bitterness eventually finds themselves surrounded by conflict. Others may call it unfortunate, but they do not see the emotional seeds planted over many years. A person who practices patience, honesty, integrity, and kindness gradually builds trust and strong relationships. Others may think opportunities magically appear for them, but they do not see the foundation that was quietly being built day after day. The truth is that life often reveals effects long after their causes have been forgotten. That is why understanding karma is so important. It teaches us to think beyond immediate gratification. It teaches us to recognize that today's choices become tomorrow's reality. It reminds us that every action matters, even when the results are not immediately visible. Think about a farmer planting seeds. The farmer does not place seeds in the ground and expect to harvest the next morning. He understands that growth takes time. He understands that what is planted today determines what will be harvested later. He understands that patience is part of the process. Life operates in much the same way. Many people become discouraged because they expect immediate results. They exercise for a week and expect transformation. They study for a month and expect mastery. They practice discipline briefly and expect extraordinary success. But karma operates according to time, consistency, and accumulation. Every positive action strengthens a pattern. Every negative action strengthens a pattern. And over time, those patterns become destiny. Before we continue, if you're enjoying these powerful Stoic lessons and want more content that helps you develop mental strength, wisdom, and self-mastery, subscribe to Unshaken Mind. Every video is designed to help you build a stronger mindset and create a better future. The first powerful karma law that can transform your life forever is the law of cause and effect. This law is simple, yet its implications are enormous. Every cause produces an effect. Every effect originates from a cause. Nothing escapes this principle. The quality of your relationships reflects countless interactions accumulated over time. The quality of your health reflects countless decisions accumulated over time. The quality of your finances reflects countless choices accumulated over time. The quality of your mindset reflects countless thoughts accumulated over time. People often focus on outcomes while ignoring causes. They admire confidence without seeing the years of practice behind it. They admire success without seeing the sacrifices behind it. They admire strength without seeing the struggles behind it. The law of cause and effect reminds us that visible results are merely the final chapter of a story that began much earlier. Consider Marcus Aurelius. As Emperor of Rome, he faced wars, political betrayals, economic challenges, and immense responsibility. Yet despite overwhelming pressures, he remained remarkably composed. His resilience was not an accident. It was the effect of years spent developing discipline, wisdom, and self-control. His character was the harvest. His daily practices were the seeds. This principle applies to every area of life. If you repeatedly choose distraction, distraction becomes a habit. If you repeatedly choose discipline, discipline becomes a habit. If you repeatedly choose gratitude, gratitude becomes a habit. If you repeatedly choose resentment, resentment becomes a habit. Eventually, habits shape character, and character shapes destiny. One reason many people struggle is because they focus exclusively on immediate rewards. They want comfort today, even if it creates suffering tomorrow. They want pleasure now, even if it creates regret later. They avoid difficult conversations, difficult decisions, and difficult responsibilities, only to face larger problems in the future. The Stoics understood that temporary discomfort often creates long-term freedom. Waking up early may feel uncomfortable today, but it creates discipline tomorrow. Saving money may require sacrifice today, but it creates security tomorrow. Practicing patience may be difficult today, but it creates stronger relationships tomorrow. Learning new skills may be challenging today, but it creates opportunities tomorrow. Every action plants a seed. Every seed produces a harvest. The question is not whether you are planting seeds. The question is what kind of seeds you are planting. Many people unknowingly plant seeds of negativity. They spend hours complaining, criticizing, comparing themselves to others, and dwelling on things beyond their control. Then they wonder why peace feels so distant. Others consciously plant seeds of growth. They focus on learning, improving, serving others, and developing self-discipline. Over time, these choices produce entirely different outcomes. The law of cause and effect teaches a powerful lesson about responsibility. You may not control every event that happens to you. You may not control the economy. You may not control other people's actions. You may not control unexpected challenges. But you always control your response. And your response becomes a cause that shapes future effects. This realization changes everything. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin asking, "What action can I take now?" Instead of feeling powerless, you become proactive. Instead of waiting for circumstances to improve, you begin improving yourself. And that shift alone has the power to transform an entire life. The Stoics repeatedly returned to this truth because they knew that focusing on what is within our control is the foundation of freedom. When you stop obsessing over outcomes and focus on actions, you regain power. When you stop blaming circumstances and start improving yourself, you regain power. When you stop waiting for perfect conditions and begin taking responsibility, you regain power. This is the hidden gift of karma. It reminds us that while we cannot rewrite yesterday, we can influence tomorrow. Every choice matters. Every action matters. Every thought matters. And every moment presents a new opportunity to plant better seeds. The future is not being created someday. It is being created right now. And whether you realize it or not, you are shaping it with every decision you make. The second powerful karma law that can transform your life forever is the law of creation. One of the greatest misconceptions people have about life is believing that they are merely spectators. They wait for success to arrive. They wait for happiness to appear. They wait for confidence to magically emerge. They wait for motivation to push them forward. And while they are waiting, years quietly pass by. The law of creation teaches a different truth. You are not merely observing your life. You are creating it. Every day, whether consciously or unconsciously, you are contributing to the reality you experience. Your habits create your future. Your mindset creates your actions. Your actions create your results. The life you desire cannot simply be wished into existence. It must be built. Many people spend years searching for opportunities while ignoring the opportunities already within their reach. They believe success belongs to those who are fortunate. Yet history repeatedly shows that extraordinary individuals often create opportunities where none seem to exist. The Stoics understood this principle deeply. They refused to waste energy wishing reality were different. Instead, they worked with what was available. They focused on action rather than complaint. They focused on effort rather than excuses. Imagine two people facing the same obstacle. The first person sees the obstacle and immediately begins complaining. They focus on what is unfair. They focus on what they lack. They focus on everything standing in their way. The second person sees the same obstacle and immediately begins searching for solutions. They ask what can be learned. They ask what can be improved. They ask what action can be taken. Months later, their lives look completely different. Not because fate favored one person over the other, but because one person became a creator while the other remained a spectator. This law teaches us that life responds differently to those who actively participate in shaping their future. Every successful relationship must be created. Every meaningful achievement must be created. Every strong character must be created. Every lasting legacy must be created. Nothing valuable appears without effort. Nothing meaningful appears without contribution. The quality of your future depends largely on the quality of what you choose to create today. That is why the Stoics placed such importance on daily habits. They understood that greatness is not built in dramatic moments. Greatness is built through small actions repeated consistently over time. A single workout may not transform your body. A single book may not transform your mind. A single act of kindness may not transform your relationships. But repeated consistently, these actions become powerful forces capable of changing an entire life. The law of creation reminds us that the future belongs to those willing to build it. If you are finding value in these lessons, subscribe to Unshaken Mind and become part of a growing community dedicated to wisdom, resilience, discipline, and personal transformation. There is so much more to learn, and every lesson can help you become stronger than you were yesterday. The third powerful karma law is the law of humility. Few qualities are more important for growth than humility. Yet humility is often misunderstood. Many people associate humility with weakness. They believe that admitting mistakes makes them appear small. They believe that acknowledging flaws makes them appear vulnerable. The truth is exactly the opposite. Humility is one of the greatest forms of strength. The arrogant person resists correction. The humble person welcomes learning. The arrogant person protects their ego. The humble person pursues truth. The arrogant person blames others. The humble person accepts responsibility. The law of humility teaches that transformation cannot begin until we honestly confront reality. Many people remain trapped in the same cycles year after year because they refuse to face uncomfortable truths. They continue destructive habits. They repeat the same mistakes. They sabotage their own progress. And then they wonder why life never changes. The problem is not always circumstances. Often, the problem is resistance to self-examination. The Stoics practiced self-reflection regularly because they understood that awareness precedes improvement. At the end of each day, they examined their thoughts and actions. They asked themselves difficult questions. Where did I fall short today? What mistakes did I make? What can I improve tomorrow? What lessons can I learn from today's experiences? This level of honesty requires courage. Most people spend their lives avoiding self-reflection because it forces them to confront truths they would rather ignore. But the law of humility teaches that growth begins where denial ends. When you accept responsibility, you gain power. When you acknowledge weaknesses, you gain the ability to strengthen them. When you admit mistakes, you gain the opportunity to correct them. Humility turns every setback into a lesson, every failure into a teacher, every challenge into an opportunity. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represents pride, excuses, blame, resentment, and denial. The longer you carry them, the more exhausted you become. Humility allows you to put those stones down. It frees you from the burden of defending your ego. It opens the door to wisdom. And wisdom is the foundation of transformation. The fourth powerful karma law is the law of growth. Perhaps one of the most profound truths in life is this: you cannot change the world until you change yourself. Many people spend years trying to control everything around them. They try to control other people. They try to control circumstances. They try to control outcomes. They try to control events beyond their influence. The result is frustration. Because the more we attempt to control what lies outside ourselves, the more powerless we feel. The Stoics recognized this long ago. They understood that true power comes not from controlling the external world but from mastering the internal one. The law of growth teaches that personal development is the key to lasting transformation. If you want better relationships, become a better communicator. If you want greater success, develop greater discipline. If you want more confidence, strengthen your character. If you want inner peace, cultivate wisdom. Growth always begins within. Many people expect circumstances to improve before they improve themselves. But life often works in reverse. The universe frequently waits for us to grow before presenting greater opportunities. A person lacking discipline may struggle with small responsibilities. How can they handle larger ones? A person unable to manage emotions may struggle in relationships. How can they build deeper connections? A person unwilling to learn may remain stagnant. How can they expect extraordinary results? Growth prepares us for what comes next. Every challenge you face contains a lesson. Every difficulty contains an opportunity. Every obstacle contains hidden strength waiting to be developed. The person you are today is not the person you were 5 years ago. And if you continue growing intentionally, the person you become 5 years from now may be almost unrecognizable. The most successful people in history never stopped growing. They never assumed they knew everything. They never believed they had arrived. They remained students of life. They remained committed to improvement. And that commitment allowed them to achieve extraordinary things. The law of growth reminds us that our greatest investment is ourselves. Money can be lost. Possessions can disappear. Status can fade. But wisdom, character, discipline, and knowledge remain with us wherever we go. That is why personal development is one of the most valuable pursuits in life. When you improve yourself, every area of your life begins to improve. Your relationships improve. Your opportunities improve. Your mindset improves. Your decisions improve. Your future improves. And perhaps most importantly, you become the kind of person capable of handling whatever life places in your path. As we continue uncovering these powerful karma laws, subscribe to Unshaken Mind if you haven't already. The next lessons reveal why focus, energy, responsibility, and connection play an even greater role in shaping your destiny than most people realize. The final 2 karma laws may completely change the way you see your life and your future forever. And now, as we come to the end of these teachings, it is important to bring everything back into one clear understanding. The laws you have explored are not separate ideas. They are interconnected principles that quietly govern every part of human experience. Cause and effect. Creation. Humility. Growth. These are not theories meant to be admired and forgotten. They are realities that are already shaping your life whether you are aware of them or not. Nothing in your life is standing still. Every thought you think is moving in a direction. Every habit you repeat is reinforcing a pattern. Every choice you make is strengthening a future version of yourself. Even when life feels random, even when events feel unfair, even when outcomes seem confusing, there is always a deeper structure at work. The Stoics understood this clearly. They did not waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable. Instead, they focused on mastering their responses, because they knew that response becomes destiny. If there is one truth to carry forward, it is this. You are always participating in the creation of your life. Even in moments where you feel powerless, you are still shaping your inner world. And that inner world eventually becomes your outer reality. This is why awareness is so important. Not to judge yourself harshly, but to see clearly. Because once you see clearly, you can begin to change direction intentionally. There is no transformation without responsibility. There is no growth without honesty. There is no progress without action. And there is no lasting change without consistency. These laws do not reward perfection. They respond to direction. Even small changes, when repeated over time, can completely alter the course of a life. A single decision made differently today can become the turning point of your future. Many people wait for life to improve before they improve themselves. But the truth revealed in these laws is the opposite. Life begins to improve when you improve yourself. Circumstances shift when your thinking shifts. Opportunities appear when your habits align with discipline. Peace becomes possible when your reactions become controlled. Everything starts within. And this is where Stoic wisdom becomes practical. You are not asked to control the entire world. You are only asked to control your effort, your attitude, and your choices in the present moment. That is where real power exists. Not in controlling outcomes, but in mastering actions. Not in resisting reality, but in responding with wisdom. Not in blaming life, but in building character strong enough to meet life as it is. If you take nothing else from this message, take this into your daily life. Be intentional with your actions. Be honest with yourself. Be willing to grow. Be responsible for your direction. Because the future is not something that suddenly arrives. It is something that is continuously being formed by how you live right now. And as you move forward, remember that transformation is not a single event. It is a process. A quiet accumulation of better choices. A gradual strengthening of the mind. A steady alignment with discipline, awareness, and purpose. The person you become is built in moments no one else sees, through decisions no one else can make for you. So continue to observe your thoughts. Continue to refine your habits. Continue to choose actions that align with the life you actually want, not the life that is easiest in the moment. And when you fall short, return to awareness without discouragement, because every moment is another opportunity to begin again in a better direction. If this message has helped you see your life with more clarity and strength, continue to support Unshaken Mind by liking, sharing, and subscribing. There is more wisdom ahead, more Stoic principles to uncover, and more tools to help you build a stronger mind in a world that constantly tests it. Stay committed to your growth. Stay aware of your choices. Stay disciplined in your direction. And remember, nothing happens by accident. Everything is becoming something through you. And what you become next will be shaped by what you choose today. There is a hidden reason why some people remain calm when their world falls apart. While others are overwhelmed by stress, heartbreak, criticism, and disappointment, these individuals remain steady, focused, and in control. They do not possess a secret advantage. They are not immune to pain. They simply understand something most people never learn. They know that emotional strength is not about avoiding hardship. It is about becoming stronger than hardship itself. The ancient Stoics dedicated their lives to mastering this truth, and the lessons they left behind are more relevant today than ever before. Every day, millions of people allow their emotions to control their decisions. A single negative comment ruins their mood. A small setback destroys their motivation. A rejection convinces them they are not good enough. A betrayal makes them lose trust in everyone around them. They become emotional prisoners, controlled by events they cannot command and opinions they cannot stop. The Stoics refuse to live this way. Philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca understood that life would always contain pain, uncertainty, and difficulty. Instead of trying to eliminate these realities, they focused on building minds capable of enduring them. To become emotionally unbreakable, you must stop viewing your emotions as masters and start treating them as signals. You must learn to respond instead of react. You must train your mind with the same dedication that athletes train their bodies. Emotional strength is not a gift. It is a discipline. If you want more powerful Stoic lessons that help you build confidence, self-control, and inner peace, make sure you subscribe to Unshaken Mind and stay connected with the channel. Every lesson is designed to help you become mentally stronger and emotionally resilient in a world filled with distractions and challenges. Rule 1: Control what you can control. Most emotional suffering comes from fighting battles that cannot be won. Think about how much energy people waste worrying about things beyond their control. They worry about what others think of them. They worry about future events that may never happen. They replay painful memories from years ago. They become frustrated because they cannot force life to unfold exactly as they want. This habit creates endless stress because reality does not bend to our desires. Epictetus taught that the foundation of a peaceful life is understanding the difference between what is within our control and what is outside of it. This simple principle sounds easy, but it has the power to completely transform your emotional life. You can control your effort. You can control your attitude. You can control your choices. You can control your discipline. You can control your character. You cannot control other people's opinions. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control the past. You cannot control unexpected events. You cannot control how others choose to behave. Yet many people spend most of their lives trying to manage these uncontrollable things. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every day. Inside that backpack are other people's expectations, old regrets, future fears, and endless worries. Over time the weight becomes exhausting. Now imagine removing every burden that does not belong to you. That is what happens when you focus only on what you can control. Suppose someone criticizes you unfairly. Most people immediately become defensive or angry. Their emotional state becomes dependent on another person's words. A Stoic approaches the situation differently. They ask themselves, can I control what this person said? No. Can I control how I respond? Yes. That is where their energy goes. When someone leaves your life, you cannot force them to stay. When opportunities disappear, you cannot always bring them back. When life changes unexpectedly, you cannot always stop it. But you can always control the person you choose to become afterward. The emotionally unbreakable individual understands that power begins where control begins. Instead of wasting energy resisting reality, they invest their energy in improving themselves. Every morning, remind yourself that your peace is too valuable to hand over to circumstances beyond your control. The more you practice this principle, the stronger your emotional foundation becomes. Rule 2: Stop taking everything personally. One of the quickest ways to lose emotional stability is to believe everything is about you. Many people spend their lives interpreting every event through a personal lens. Someone does not return a phone call. You assume they are upset with you. Someone appears distant. You assume you did something wrong. Someone criticizes your work. You assume they are attacking your worth as a person. This way of thinking creates unnecessary suffering. The truth is that most people are focused on their own problems, fears, insecurities, and responsibilities. The coworker who seems rude may be dealing with personal stress. The friend who seems distant may be overwhelmed by challenges you know nothing about. The stranger who behaved badly may be carrying pain they have never learned to manage. Their behavior often reveals more about them than it does about you. The Stoics understood this deeply. They recognized that every person acts according to their current level of understanding. Some people are driven by wisdom. Others are driven by fear, anger, jealousy, or insecurity. When someone acts poorly, emotionally fragile people immediately internalize the behavior. Emotionally strong people observe it without absorbing it. This does not mean allowing people to mistreat you. It means refusing to let their actions determine your self-worth. Imagine standing in the rain. You cannot stop the rain from falling. But you can choose whether you allow yourself to become drenched. Negative opinions are similar. People will judge you. People will misunderstand you. People will criticize you. People will project their insecurities onto you. You cannot prevent these things from happening. You can decide whether their words deserve space inside your mind. The strongest individuals understand that not every opinion deserves a response. Not every criticism deserves attention. Not every insult deserves emotional investment. Sometimes the most powerful response is simple indifference. The less personally you take life's challenges, the more emotionally free you become. Rule 3: Expect difficulty instead of resisting it. One of the greatest mistakes people make is expecting life to be easy. When challenges arrive, they are shocked. When relationships become difficult, they are surprised. When failures occur, they become discouraged. When obstacles appear, they feel betrayed by life itself. The Stoics saw things differently. They expected challenges because they understood that difficulty is woven into the human experience. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that he would encounter difficult people, setbacks, misunderstandings, and disappointments. Not because he was pessimistic, because he wanted to be prepared. Preparation creates resilience. Unexpected hardship often causes panic. Expected hardship creates readiness. Think about a soldier entering a battlefield. Would they be surprised to encounter resistance? Of course not. They train for it. Life works the same way. When you expect obstacles, you stop viewing them as personal attacks. You begin seeing them as opportunities to strengthen your character. Every challenge tests your patience. Every setback tests your determination. Every disappointment tests your emotional control. Most people pray for easier lives. The Stoics focused on becoming stronger people. This shift changes everything. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of asking, "How do I escape this challenge?" ask, "How do I grow from this challenge?" The obstacle becomes the teacher. The difficulty becomes the training ground. The struggle becomes the source of strength. The strongest minds are not built during comfortable moments. They are forged during adversity. And every hardship you overcome becomes evidence that you are capable of enduring more than you once believed. Rule 4: Build in a validation. Many people spend their entire lives searching for approval. They want others to praise them. They want others to admire them. They want others to validate their choices. Their confidence rises when they receive attention and collapses when they do not. This creates emotional instability because their self-worth depends on external factors. The Stoics warned against this trap. They understood that relying on approval is like building a house on shifting sand. The opinions of others change constantly. One day people praise you. The next day they criticize you. One day they support you. The next day they doubt you. If your confidence depends on their approval, your emotional state will remain unstable. True confidence comes from character. It comes from knowing you acted according to your values. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. It comes from maintaining integrity even when nobody is watching. The emotionally unbreakable person does not need constant validation because they have learned to validate themselves. They know their worth is not determined by applause. They know their value is not determined by popularity. They know their identity is not determined by public opinion. When you build in a validation, you become impossible to manipulate through praise or criticism. You stop living for approval. You start living according to principles. And that is where genuine freedom begins. Before we continue to the remaining Stoic rules, remember to subscribe to Unshaken Mind. If you are serious about developing emotional resilience, mental discipline, and lasting inner peace, this channel is dedicated to helping you become stronger with every lesson you watch. End of expanded part 1. Approximate. Rule 5. Train yourself to remain calm under pressure. One of the clearest signs of emotional strength is the ability to remain calm when everyone else is losing control. Most people believe calmness is something you either have or you do not have. The Stoics disagreed. They believed calmness is a skill that can be trained through daily practice. Think about how often people react impulsively. A harsh comment triggers anger. A setback creates panic. A disagreement turns into an argument. An unexpected problem ruins an entire day. In each case, the event itself is not what causes the greatest damage. The damage comes from the uncontrolled reaction. The Stoics understood that emotions are natural. They never taught people to suppress emotions or pretend they did not exist. Instead, they taught mastery over emotional reactions. An emotionally unbreakable person still feels frustration. They still experience disappointment. They still encounter fear, sadness, and anger. The difference is that they refuse to become servants of those emotions. When anger arrives, they observe it. When fear appears, they examine it. When disappointment comes, they learn from it. They do not immediately surrender control. Imagine a captain steering a ship through a violent storm. The waves crash against the vessel. The wind pushes from every direction. Yet the captain remains focused on the wheel. Your emotions are the storm. Your mind is the captain. The goal is not to stop the storm. The goal is to maintain control of the ship. Every difficult moment gives you an opportunity to strengthen this skill. The next time someone provokes you, pause before responding. The next time life frustrates you, take a moment before reacting. The next time anxiety begins to rise, remind yourself that panic has never solved a problem. The more you practice calmness, the more powerful it becomes. Over time, people will notice something different about you. While others are overwhelmed by pressure, you remain steady. While others become emotional, you remain thoughtful. While others lose control, you remain grounded. That level of self-mastery is rare, and it is one of the strongest forms of emotional resilience. If these Stoic lessons are helping you strengthen your mindset, subscribe to Unshaken Mind and continue this journey with us. There is always another level of mental strength waiting to be developed. Rule 6. Detach yourself from outcomes. Many people suffer because they become attached to specific results. They tell themselves they can only be happy if they get the promotion. They believe they can only feel successful if they achieve a certain goal. They convince themselves they can only find peace if everything happens exactly as planned. This creates emotional dependence on circumstances. The Stoics taught a different approach. Focus on the process. Focus on your effort. Focus on your character. Focus on your actions. Leave the outcome to reality. This does not mean giving up on goals. It means understanding that your responsibility is effort, not certainty. You can prepare perfectly for an interview and still not get the job. You can give your best effort in a relationship and still experience heartbreak. You can work tirelessly toward a goal and still encounter setbacks. Life contains variables beyond your control. When your happiness depends entirely on outcomes, every setback becomes devastating. When your happiness depends on your effort and character, setbacks become manageable. Imagine planting a seed. You can water it. You can protect it. You can care for it. But you cannot force it to grow overnight. Your responsibility is the work. The result arrives in its own time. The emotionally unbreakable person understands this principle deeply. They commit fully to the process while accepting uncertainty. They pursue excellence without becoming attached to guarantees. This mindset creates extraordinary peace because success no longer controls their emotions. They find satisfaction in becoming better, not merely in getting what they want. And that is a form of freedom few people ever experience. Rule 7: Learn to be comfortable alone. One of the greatest fears many people have is being alone. They fill every quiet moment with distractions. They constantly seek attention. They rely on other people to provide meaning, validation, and emotional security. The Stoics saw solitude differently. They viewed solitude as an opportunity for growth. When you are alone, there are no crowds to impress. There are no social masks to wear. There are no external distractions hiding your thoughts. There is only you. Many people avoid solitude because it forces them to confront themselves. They become uncomfortable with silence because silence reveals truths they would rather ignore. But emotional strength requires self-awareness. You cannot master yourself if you never spend time understanding yourself. The Stoics regularly reflected on their actions, habits, strengths, and weaknesses. They treated solitude as a training ground for wisdom. An emotionally unbreakable person is not dependent on constant company. They enjoy relationships, but they do not need relationships to feel complete. They appreciate attention, but they do not depend on attention for self-worth. They value connection, but they do not fear being alone. The stronger your relationship with yourself becomes, the less vulnerable you become to loneliness, rejection, or abandonment. When you enjoy your own company, you gain a powerful form of independence. You stop chasing people simply because you fear being alone. You stop accepting disrespect simply because you fear losing someone. You stop compromising your values simply to gain approval. Solitude teaches you that your peace does not come from others. It comes from within. Rule 8: Turn pain into power. Every person experiences pain. The difference between strong people and weak people is what they do with that pain. Many allow pain to make them bitter. Others allow pain to make them wiser. The Stoics believed adversity was one of life's greatest teachers. Every challenge carries a lesson. Every failure contains knowledge. Every disappointment offers an opportunity for growth. Think about the hardest experiences of your life. The moments that tested you. The moments that broke your expectations. The moments that forced you to confront reality. Those experiences probably taught you more than years of comfort ever could. Pain has a way of revealing truths. It exposes weaknesses. It uncovers hidden strengths. It teaches humility. It develops resilience. Emotionally unbreakable people do not waste suffering. They extract wisdom from it. When life knocks them down, they rise stronger. When they fail, they learn. When they are rejected, they grow. When they are criticized, they improve. Every painful experience becomes fuel for personal development. The obstacle becomes the path forward. The wound becomes a source of wisdom. The setback becomes preparation for future success. This is one of the most powerful Stoic transformations a person can make. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "How can this make me stronger?" That question changes everything. Rule 9. Accept that loss is part of life. Many emotional struggles come from refusing to accept the temporary nature of life. People change. Relationships change. Opportunities come and go. Nothing remains exactly the same forever. The Stoics understood this reality and accepted it. They appreciated what they had without assuming it would last forever. This mindset creates gratitude. When you understand that everything is temporary, you stop taking things for granted. You appreciate the people in your life. You value the opportunities before you. You become present in each moment. Acceptance of loss does not make you cold. It makes you wiser. The emotionally unbreakable person understands that loss is painful but natural. They grieve when necessary. They feel sadness when appropriate. But they do not allow loss to destroy their identity. They understand that life moves forward. They carry memories, lessons, and gratitude with them while continuing their journey. The more you accept impermanence, the less fear controls your decisions. You begin living more fully because you understand the value of the present moment. Rule 10. Live according to principles, not emotions. The final Stoic rule may be the most important. Do not build your life on emotions. Build it on principles. Emotions change constantly. Some days you feel motivated. Other days you do not. Some days you feel confident. Other days you feel uncertain. If your actions depend entirely on your emotions, your life will become inconsistent. The Stoics believed that character should guide decisions, not temporary feelings. Do the right thing even when it is difficult. Remain disciplined even when motivation disappears. Stay honest even when dishonesty seems easier. Keep moving forward even when progress feels slow. An emotionally unbreakable person understands that feelings come and go. Principles remain. When your life is guided by values rather than emotions, you become stable. You become reliable. You become resilient. You become someone who can be trusted by others and by yourself. That level of inner strength cannot be shaken by temporary circumstances. It is built upon a foundation deeper than moods, opinions, or external events. It is built upon character. Conclusion and closing. Becoming emotionally unbreakable does not happen overnight. It is not achieved through a single lesson, a single book, or a single decision. It is built day by day, challenge by challenge, choice by choice. The 10 Stoic rules we explored today are not theories. They are practical principles that can transform how you respond to life. Control what you can control. Stop taking everything personally. Expect difficulty. Build inner validation. Remain calm under pressure. Detach from outcomes. Learn to be comfortable alone. Turn pain into power. Accept loss as part of life. Live according to principles instead of emotions. The more consistently you apply these lessons, the stronger your mind becomes. There will still be challenges. There will still be setbacks. There will still be difficult days. But you will no longer be easily shaken by them. You will develop the kind of inner strength that remains steady when life becomes uncertain. You will become the person who stays calm while others panic. The person who remains focused while others quit. The person who continues moving forward while others give up. That is the power of Stoicism. If you enjoyed this video and want more powerful lessons on Stoicism, self-discipline, mental toughness, emotional mastery, and personal growth, make sure you subscribe to Unshaken Mind. Like this video, share it with someone who needs these lessons, and leave a comment below sharing which Stoic rule impacted you the most. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this growing community, and remember, the strongest fortress you will ever build is the one inside your own mind. Keep learning. Keep growing. Keep standing firm. And until the next video, stay unshaken. There is a reason some people remain calm in chaos, focused in distraction, and strong when life seems determined to break them. While others are constantly overwhelmed by stress, anger, fear, and disappointment, these individuals move through life with remarkable confidence and peace. Their secret is not luck, talent, or special circumstances. It is something far more powerful. It is a way of thinking that has survived for over 2,000 years. What if the struggles that frustrate you every day are not actually your biggest problem? What if the real obstacle is the way you respond to them? Imagine waking up tomorrow with greater clarity, stronger self-control, deeper confidence, and a level of inner peace that cannot easily be shaken by criticism, failure, or uncertainty. That transformation is possible, and it begins with a handful of timeless principles practiced by the greatest Stoic minds in history. Today, we will explore 12 Stoic principles that can transform your life immediately. These are not complicated theories. They are practical lessons that can change the way you think, act, and experience the world. As we go through these principles, make sure you stay until the end because the final lessons often have the greatest impact when applied consistently. And if you enjoy content that helps you build mental strength, wisdom, and self-mastery, remember to subscribe to Unshaken Mind so you never miss future lessons designed to help you become the strongest version of yourself. Principle 1. Focus only on what you can control. The foundation of Stoicism begins with one simple realization. There are things you can control, and there are things you cannot. Most people spend enormous amounts of energy worrying about events, opinions, outcomes, and circumstances that lie completely outside their control. Become frustrated when life refuses to obey their expectations. The Stoics understood that peace begins when you stop fighting reality. You cannot control the weather, the economy, the past, the actions of other people, or every challenge that comes your way. However, you can control your thoughts, your choices, your attitude, and your response to events. When something goes wrong, ask yourself a simple question. Is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. If the answer is yes, focus your energy there. This principle alone can eliminate an enormous amount of unnecessary stress and emotional suffering. Every day offers opportunities to practice this lesson. Traffic jams, criticism, delays, disappointments, and unexpected setbacks become far less powerful when you stop demanding that reality conform to your wishes. Instead of wasting energy on what cannot be changed, invest your attention where it can actually make a difference. Principle 2. Your mind creates most of your suffering. Marcus Aurelius taught that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This ancient observation remains astonishingly accurate today. Think about how much time people spend worrying about things that never happen. They imagine future failures, future embarrassment, future rejection, and future disasters. They create emotional pain long before any real problem appears. The Stoics recognized that events themselves are rarely the true source of suffering. Instead, suffering often comes from the stories we tell ourselves about those events. A criticism becomes devastating only when you decide it defines your worth. A failure becomes unbearable only when you convince yourself it destroys your future. A setback becomes overwhelming only when you view it as permanent. Learning to question your interpretations can completely change your experience of life. Instead of immediately believing every negative thought, examine it carefully. Ask whether it is true. Ask whether it is useful. Ask whether it is helping you grow. When you master your mind, you begin to master your life. If you're finding value in these lessons, make sure you're subscribed to Unshaken Mind because each video is designed to help you develop the mental discipline that the Stoics considered essential for a meaningful life. Principle 3. Embrace discomfort. Modern culture encourages comfort at every opportunity. The Stoics taught the opposite. They understood that comfort can become a trap. When people become addicted to convenience, they often become weaker, more fearful, and less resilient. Growth happens when you willingly face challenges. Strength develops when you endure difficulty. Confidence emerges when you discover that you can survive situations you once feared. This does not mean seeking suffering for its own sake. It means refusing to run from discomfort whenever it appears. Have difficult conversations. Learn new skills. Accept temporary setbacks. Push yourself beyond familiar limits. Every challenge you face successfully expands your capacity for future success. The person who avoids discomfort remains fragile. The person who embraces it becomes powerful. Principle 4. Time is your most valuable asset. Money can be recovered. Opportunities can return. Possessions can be replaced. Time cannot. Every day, people waste hours on distractions that contribute nothing meaningful to their lives. They scroll endlessly, argue unnecessarily, complain constantly, and postpone important actions. The Stoics view time as life's most precious resource because every moment spent is gone forever. Imagine receiving a bank account each morning filled with 86,400 seconds. Whatever you fail to use wisely disappears at midnight. How differently would you live? Start treating your time with greater respect. Protect it from unnecessary distractions. Invest it in learning, building, improving, and strengthening yourself. A meaningful life is built one day at a time. The way you spend your hours ultimately determines the quality of your future. Principle 5. Expect challenges before they arrive. Many people are shocked whenever difficulties appear. They act as though life has violated some unspoken agreement. The Stoics knew better. They understood that obstacles, setbacks, disappointments, and hardships are natural parts of existence. Instead of expecting life to be easy, they prepared themselves mentally for challenges. This practice does not create pessimism. It creates resilience. When difficulties arrive unexpectedly, they can overwhelm you. When you anticipate them, you remain calm and focused. Every morning, remind yourself that you may encounter frustration, criticism, delays, misunderstandings, and setbacks. By expecting these possibilities, you reduce their power to disturb your peace. Prepared minds handle adversity far better than surprised minds. Principle 6. Character matters more than reputation. Many people spend their lives trying to impress others. They chase approval, popularity, status, and validation. The Stoics believed this was a dangerous mistake. Your reputation exists in the minds of other people. Your character exists within you. You cannot fully control what others think about you. You can control who you become. A strong character is built through honesty, courage, discipline, integrity, and wisdom. These qualities remain valuable regardless of public opinion. If people misunderstand you, focus on maintaining your principles. If critics attack you unfairly, focus on doing what is right. A person who depends on external approval will always be vulnerable. A person guided by character possesses a source of strength that cannot easily be taken away. Principle 7. Gratitude changes everything. Most people focus constantly on what they lack. They want more money, more success, more recognition, more possessions, and more opportunities. The Stoics practiced gratitude because they understood a powerful truth. Happiness does not come primarily from acquiring more. It comes from appreciating what already exists. Take time to recognize the blessings you often overlook. Your health, your relationships, your ability to learn, your opportunities, and even the simple gift of another day. Gratitude shifts attention away from scarcity and toward abundance. The more grateful you become, the richer your life feels regardless of external circumstances. This mindset creates contentment without destroying ambition. You can strive for improvement while still appreciating the present moment. Principle 8. Learn to be unshaken by other people's opinions. One of the fastest ways to lose control of your life is to place your happiness in the hands of other people. The moment your self-worth depends on praise, approval, compliments, or validation, you surrender your peace to forces you cannot control. Today, many people spend their lives constantly monitoring how others perceive them. They worry about criticism, fear rejection, and obsess over appearing successful. As a result, they become trapped in an endless cycle of anxiety and insecurity. The Stoics understood that other people's opinions are often based on limited information, personal biases, emotions, and misunderstandings. A person may criticize you not because you are wrong, but because they see the world differently. Someone may dislike you for reasons that have nothing to do with your character. Another person may praise you today and criticize you tomorrow. If your emotional stability depends on these changing opinions, you will never experience lasting peace. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that every person views reality through their own perspective. Because of this, seeking universal approval is impossible. No matter how good, kind, intelligent, or successful you become, someone will disagree with you. Someone will misunderstand you. Someone will judge you unfairly. The Stoic response is simple. Focus on living according to your values rather than chasing approval. Let your conscience become your judge instead of the crowd. Ask yourself whether you acted with integrity, wisdom, and courage. If the answer is yes, then the opinions of others lose much of their power. This principle becomes especially important in difficult moments. Perhaps someone spreads rumors about you. Maybe a colleague undervalues your efforts. Maybe friends fail to appreciate your sacrifices. Instead of becoming consumed by resentment, remember that your worth is not determined by public opinion. A lion does not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. Likewise, a person committed to self-mastery cannot allow every criticism to disturb their peace. True freedom begins when you stop needing everyone to agree with you. As you continue learning these timeless Stoic lessons, make sure you are subscribed to Unshaken Mind so you can continue strengthening your mindset and developing the emotional resilience needed to thrive in today's world. Principle 9. Turn obstacles into opportunities. Most people see obstacles as barriers. Stoics see them as training grounds. When life becomes difficult, many immediately ask, "Why is this happening to me?" The Stoics asked a different question. They asked, "How can this make me stronger?" This shift in perspective changes everything. Every obstacle contains a hidden lesson. Every setback contains an opportunity for growth. Every challenge develops qualities that comfort never could. Imagine a blacksmith forging a sword. The steel must endure intense heat, repeated hammering, and enormous pressure before it becomes strong. Human character develops in much the same way. Difficulties shape us. Adversity reveals our weaknesses and forces us to improve. Many of history's strongest individuals were not created by easy circumstances. They were forged through hardship. They learned patience through delays, courage through fear, discipline through struggle, and wisdom through mistakes. When obstacles appear, resist the urge to complain. Instead, examine what the challenge is trying to teach you. Perhaps it is teaching patience. Perhaps it is developing resilience. Perhaps it is forcing you to become more adaptable. The obstacle itself may not be pleasant, but your response determines whether it becomes a source of growth or suffering. Epictetus taught that difficulties show us who we truly are. Anyone can appear confident when everything goes according to plan. True character reveals itself when plans fall apart. The next time life presents an obstacle, remind yourself that this challenge is not necessarily blocking your path. It may actually be the path. Those who learn to transform adversity into opportunity gain a tremendous advantage in life because they stop fearing difficulties and start using them as fuel for personal growth. Principle 10. Master your emotions before they master you. Emotions are powerful. They influence decisions, relationships, careers, and entire lives. Yet many people live as prisoners of their emotions. A single insult ruins their day. One disappointment destroys their motivation. A moment of anger causes damage that takes years to repair. The Stoics never suggested suppressing emotions completely. Instead, they emphasized understanding and managing them wisely. Consider anger. Anger often feels justified in the moment. Someone disrespects you, disappoints you, or treats you unfairly. Your immediate impulse may be to react. But Stoics understood that uncontrolled anger rarely improves a situation. More often, it creates additional problems. Before reacting emotionally, pause and examine what is happening. Ask yourself whether your response is helping or hurting the situation. Ask whether your reaction aligns with the person you want to become. This same principle applies to fear, jealousy, frustration, and sadness. Emotions are natural experiences, but they should not become your master. Imagine driving a car. Your emotions are passengers. They can provide useful information about road conditions, but they should never seize the steering wheel. If emotions take control, accidents become inevitable. Developing emotional mastery requires practice. It means creating space between stimulus and response. It means learning to observe emotions without immediately acting upon them. Over time, this discipline produces remarkable benefits. You become calmer under pressure. You make better decisions. You handle conflicts more effectively. You gain a reputation for stability and wisdom. The person who masters emotions gains power over circumstances that overwhelm others. Principle 11. Live each day as if it matters. One of the most profound Stoic practices involves remembering the temporary nature of life. Modern society often encourages the illusion that there will always be more time. More time to pursue dreams. More time to repair relationships. More time to become the person we want to be. The Stoics challenged this assumption. They regularly reflected on mortality, not to become fearful, but to become fully alive. When you understand that life is limited, every moment gains value. You stop postponing important actions. You stop wasting energy on trivial conflicts. You become more intentional about how you spend your days. Imagine reaching the end of your life and looking back. What would matter most? Would endless worrying matter? Would unnecessary arguments matter? Would comparing yourself to others matter? Probably not. What would matter are the meaningful relationships you built, the values you lived by, the growth you pursued, and the positive impact you had on others. The awareness of mortality can be one of the greatest motivators for living wisely. Each morning presents an opportunity that countless people no longer possess. You have another chance to learn, improve, love, contribute, and grow. Do not take that opportunity for granted. The Stoics believed that the quality of your life is determined not by how many years you live, but by how fully and intentionally you use the years you have. When you live with this awareness, procrastination loses its appeal. Excuses become less convincing. Purpose becomes clearer. You begin treating each day as a valuable gift rather than an unlimited resource. Principle 12. Become the architect of your own life. Perhaps the most powerful Stoic principle is accepting complete responsibility for your development. Many people spend years blaming circumstances, other people, bad luck, or past experiences for their current situation. While external factors certainly influence our lives, the Stoics believed that true power begins when we focus on what we can do moving forward. Your future is being shaped by the choices you make today. Every habit you repeat strengthens a certain version of yourself. Every decision moves you closer to or further away from your goals. Every action contributes to the person you are becoming. This realization can feel intimidating because it removes excuses. However, it is also incredibly empowering because it places responsibility back into your hands. You may not control your starting point, but you control your direction. You may not control every circumstance, but you control how you respond. You may not control the past, but you control what you do next. The Stoics believed that greatness is not achieved through occasional bursts of motivation. It is built through consistent daily choices. Small acts of discipline repeated over time create extraordinary results. Each day offers an opportunity to practice wisdom, courage, self-control, and integrity. Each day allows you to strengthen your character and move closer to the person you aspire to become. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for someone else to change your life. The responsibility is yours, and so is the power. The moment you accept ownership of your growth is the moment your transformation truly begins. OUTRO. The 12 Stoic principles we explored today are more than philosophical ideas. They are practical tools for building a stronger, calmer, and more purposeful life. They teach us to focus on what we can control, master our emotions, embrace challenges, value our time, strengthen our character, appreciate the present, and take responsibility for our future. The remarkable thing about Stoicism is that its wisdom remains just as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. Human nature has not changed. We still face fear, uncertainty, disappointment, temptation, and adversity. Yet these timeless principles continue to provide a path toward inner strength and lasting peace. Remember, transformation does not happen because you watched a video. Transformation happens when you apply what you learn consistently. Even if you begin with just one principle today, you have already taken an important step toward becoming a stronger version of yourself. Ask yourself which of these principles resonated with you the most. Which lesson do you need to apply immediately? Which habit can you start practicing today? The answers to those questions may shape the course of your future. If you found value in this video, support the channel by liking the video, sharing it with someone who needs these lessons, and leaving a comment about the Stoic principle that impacted you most. Your engagement helps spread these timeless teachings to more people seeking wisdom and self-mastery. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Unshaken Mind and turn on notifications so you never miss future videos filled with powerful Stoic wisdom, practical life lessons, and strategies for developing an unbreakable mindset. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay focused, stay calm under pressure, and continue building the strong, wise, and resilient life you were meant to live. Remember, the strongest fortress you will ever build is the one within your own mind. Have you ever wondered why some people can insult, criticize, manipulate, or disrespect others, yet certain individuals remain completely calm? No anger. No revenge. No emotional breakdown. While everyone else loses control, they stay composed, confident, and unshaken. The ancient Stoics discovered a powerful truth thousands of years ago: difficult people only have power over you when they control your emotions. The moment you master your reactions, you become stronger than any insult, criticism, or negativity that comes your way. Today, you will learn the Stoic guide to handling difficult people, powerful wisdom that can transform how you deal with toxic friends, rude co-workers, manipulative family members, jealous people, and anyone who tries to disturb your peace. If you enjoy learning practical Stoic wisdom that helps you become mentally stronger every day, subscribe to Unshaken Mind and follow this channel for more life-changing content. Understanding why difficult people exist. One of the greatest lessons from Stoicism is that difficult people are not a mistake. They are part of life. Many people spend years hoping everyone around them will become kind, respectful, and understanding. But reality teaches a different lesson. The Roman Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning that he would meet people who were selfish, dishonest, arrogant, jealous, and rude. He did not say this because he was pessimistic. He said it because he was realistic. When you expect life to be free from difficult people, every negative encounter feels like a personal attack. But when you understand that challenging people are part of life, you stop being shocked by their behavior. Imagine walking outside during the rainy season and becoming angry because it rains. The rain is simply doing what rain does. Likewise, some people act negatively because they haven't learned how to manage their emotions. Their behavior reflects their character, not your worth. The Stoics believed that wisdom begins when you stop demanding that reality be different. The story of the merchant. There was once a successful merchant in ancient Rome who often lost his temper whenever customers treated him unfairly. Every insult ruined his day. Every complaint kept him awake at night. One day, he sought advice from a Stoic teacher. The teacher asked him a simple question. If a donkey kicks you, would you spend the entire day feeling offended? The merchant laughed and said no. The teacher replied, then why allow a person who lacks self-control to affect you more than a donkey? That lesson changed the merchant forever. He realized that many people's actions come from ignorance, frustration, insecurity, or emotional weakness. Instead of reacting emotionally, he began responding with patience. His business improved. His peace increased. His life became calmer. The lesson is simple. Not every behavior deserves your emotional investment. Stop taking everything personally. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that every negative comment is about them. Most of the time, it isn't. People project their fears, frustrations, insecurities, and disappointments onto others. Someone having a bad day may snap at you. Someone insecure about their own life may criticize yours. Someone filled with jealousy may try to diminish your achievements. Their behavior often reveals more about them than about you. The Stoics understood this deeply. When someone attacks your character, pause and ask yourself, is this truly about me, or is this person revealing something about themselves? This simple question can protect your peace. The moment you stop taking everything personally, you become emotionally free. And if you're learning something valuable so far, subscribe to Unshaken Mind and follow the channel so you never miss future Stoic lessons designed to strengthen your mind. Control what you can control. One of the most famous Stoic teachings is the dichotomy of control. This principle teaches that some things are within our control and others are not. You cannot control what people say. You cannot control what people think. You cannot control how people behave. You cannot control whether people like you. But you can control your response. You can control your attitude. You can control your choices. You can control your actions. Most suffering comes from trying to control what belongs to others. Imagine holding a rope tied to a wild horse. The harder you pull, the more exhausted you become. Eventually, you realize the horse was never yours to control. The same applies to people. The moment you focus on your own behavior instead of theirs, you reclaim your energy. Silence is often greater than revenge. Many people believe strength means winning every argument. The Stoics believed otherwise. Sometimes strength means refusing to participate. Not every criticism deserves a response. Not every insult deserves a defense. Not every accusation deserves an explanation. Difficult people often seek emotional reactions. They want your anger. They want your frustration. They want your attention. When you refuse to provide it, their power disappears. Silence is not weakness. Silence is often self-mastery. The strongest person in the room is usually the one who can remain calm while everyone else loses control. The story of the angry neighbor. A man once lived beside a neighbor known for constant arguments. Every day the neighbor complained. Every day he criticized. Every day he searched for conflict. The man repeatedly defended himself and argued back. Years passed. Nothing improved. One day he decided to follow Stoic wisdom. Instead of reacting, he remained calm. Instead of arguing, he listened. Instead of fighting, he focused on his own peace. Something surprising happened. The neighbor eventually stopped. Without emotional fuel, the conflict died naturally. Many arguments survive because both sides continue feeding them. Sometimes peace arrives when only one person chooses not to fight. Don't let their character change yours. One of the greatest dangers of dealing with difficult people is becoming like them. A rude person makes you rude. A dishonest person makes you dishonest. An angry person makes you angry. The Stoics warned against this trap. No matter what someone does, your responsibility is to maintain your own character. Never allow another person's behavior to determine who you become. Your values should not depend on their actions. Your integrity should not disappear because someone else lacks integrity. Remain kind without becoming weak. Remain strong without becoming cruel. Remain calm without becoming passive. This is true Stoic strength. Learn to see difficult people as teachers. Most people view difficult individuals as obstacles. The Stoics viewed them differently. They saw them as opportunities for growth. Think about it for a moment. Patience is easy when everyone is kind. Self-control is easy when nobody challenges you. Calmness is easy when life is peaceful. But true character is revealed when circumstances become difficult. A rude coworker tests your patience. A manipulative friend tests your boundaries. A jealous person tests your confidence. A dishonest person tests your integrity. Without these challenges, you never truly discover how strong your character is. The Stoics believed that every difficult encounter contains a lesson. Instead of immediately reacting with anger, they encouraged people to ask a different question. What is this situation trying to teach me? Perhaps it is teaching patience. Perhaps it is teaching emotional discipline. Perhaps it is teaching courage. Perhaps it is teaching you how to let go of things beyond your control. When you adopt this mindset, difficult people lose much of their power. They stop being enemies and start becoming unexpected teachers. This doesn't mean you enjoy their behavior. It means you use every challenge as fuel for personal growth. Each difficult person becomes a training ground for wisdom. And every time you choose self-control over emotional reaction, you become stronger. If you're enjoying these Stoic lessons and want more powerful wisdom to strengthen your mind, subscribe to Unshaken Mind and follow the channel for more content like this. The power of emotional detachment. One of the most misunderstood Stoic principles is emotional detachment. Many people think emotional detachment means not caring about anything. That is not what the Stoics taught. Emotional detachment means caring deeply about what matters while refusing to become controlled by external events. Imagine carrying a cup filled to the brim with water. Every small movement causes the water to spill. This is how many people live emotionally. A single criticism ruins their mood. A negative comment destroys their confidence. A disagreement consumes their thoughts for days. The Stoics sought something different. They wanted an inner stability that could not be shaken by every external event. They understood that most people surrender their emotional well-being to strangers. Someone compliments them and they feel wonderful. Someone criticizes them and they feel miserable. Their emotions become dependent on other people. This is a dangerous way to live. The Stoics believed your peace should come from within. When your self-worth depends on your character rather than public opinion, you become emotionally independent. You no longer need constant approval. You no longer fear criticism. You no longer panic when people disagree with you. You become grounded, stable, resilient, and most importantly, free. The story of the stone statue. There is an old story about a philosopher walking through a crowded marketplace. As he passed through the crowd, several men began mocking him. They laughed at his appearance. They insulted his ideas. They attempted to provoke him into an argument. Yet the philosopher continued walking calmly. He neither defended himself nor attacked them in return. A young student who witnessed the scene was amazed. Later, he asked the philosopher how he managed to remain so calm. The philosopher pointed toward a stone statue standing nearby. Then he asked the student a question. If these men insulted that statue, would it become angry? The student replied, "Of course not." The philosopher smiled and said, "Then why should I surrender my peace because someone else lacks wisdom?" This story illustrates a profound Stoic lesson. People can only disturb your inner peace when you allow them access to it. The words of others have power only when you accept them as truth. A calm mind examines criticism carefully. If the criticism is true, it becomes an opportunity for improvement. If it is false, there is no reason to be disturbed. Either way, anger becomes unnecessary. Choose distance when necessary. Many people believe that being a good person means tolerating every form of disrespect. The Stoics disagreed. They valued compassion, but they also valued wisdom. There is a difference between being kind and allowing yourself to be repeatedly harmed. Some people continuously create drama. Some constantly manipulate. Some repeatedly violate boundaries. Some drain your energy every time you interact with them. Stoicism does not require you to remain trapped in unhealthy relationships. In fact, protecting your peace is often an act of wisdom. Imagine planting a healthy tree in poisoned soil. No matter how strong the tree is, the environment eventually affects its growth. The same principle applies to people. Your environment influences your thoughts, habits, and emotional state. This is why the Stoics encouraged people to spend time with those who inspire virtue. Seek relationships that encourage honesty. Seek friendships that encourage growth. Seek people who challenge you to become better rather than dragging you into negativity. Sometimes the most Stoic decision is not confrontation. Sometimes it is distance. Distance can protect your peace. Distance can protect your growth. Distance can protect your future. Remember that everyone is fighting their own battle. One reason difficult people often behave badly is because they are struggling internally. The person who constantly criticizes others may secretly feel inadequate. The person who attacks others may be fighting personal pain. The person who spreads negativity may be deeply unhappy. The Stoics understood that human beings often act from fear, insecurity, and ignorance. This perspective does not excuse harmful behavior, but it helps prevent hatred from taking root in your heart. Compassion allows you to understand people's struggles without becoming trapped by them. You can recognize their pain without accepting their behavior. You can maintain your boundaries while still understanding their humanity. This balance is important, because hatred harms the person carrying it. Anger drains your energy. Resentment steals your peace. Bitterness clouds your judgment. The Stoics believed wisdom lies in understanding human weakness while remaining committed to virtue. Focus on becoming unshakable. At the heart of Stoicism lies one powerful goal: to become unshakable. Not emotionless. Not cold. Not indifferent. Unshakable. An unshakable person feels emotions but is not controlled by them. An unshakable person experiences criticism without losing confidence. An unshakable person faces setbacks without surrendering hope. An unshakable person encounters difficult people without abandoning their values. This level of strength is not built overnight. It develops through daily practice. Each time you choose patience over anger, you become stronger. Each time you choose wisdom over impulse, you become stronger. Each time you choose peace over conflict, you become stronger. Over time, people will notice something different about you. They will notice that insults no longer affect you. They will notice that drama no longer controls you. They will notice that negativity no longer shakes your confidence. And the reason is simple. You have learned one of the greatest lessons in Stoicism. Your peace belongs to you, not to strangers, not to critics, not to difficult people. To you. If you want to continue building an unshakable mindset and mastering the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, subscribe to Unshaken Mind, follow the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another lesson designed to help you become stronger, calmer, and wiser every day. There is a reason why some people remain disciplined for years while others quit after a few days. They face the same distractions. They experience the same doubts. They encounter the same obstacles. Yet one person keeps moving forward while another gives up. Why? Marcus Aurelius believed the answer lies within. The greatest victory in life is not conquering another person. It is conquering yourself. The strongest person is not the one who can defeat others. The strongest person is the one who can control their impulses, emotions, desires, and habits. In today's world, self-discipline is becoming increasingly rare. People are surrounded by endless distractions. Social media competes for attention. Entertainment is available every second of the day. Comfort is easier to access than ever before. As a result, many people struggle to stay focused on what truly matters. But the Stoics left behind timeless wisdom that can help us overcome these challenges. Their teachings have survived for thousands of years because they address the same human struggles we face today. And among all Stoics, Marcus Aurelius stands as one of the greatest examples of discipline and self-mastery. He ruled an empire, faced wars, political pressure, betrayal, and personal tragedy, yet he remained committed to self-control and virtue. Today, we will explore the first 5 Stoic principles that can help you build powerful self-discipline and strengthen your mind. As you listen, think about which principle you need most in your own life. And if you're enjoying these lessons, subscribe to Unshaken Mind and follow the channel so you can continue learning practical Stoic wisdom that helps you become mentally stronger every day. Principle 1. Control yourself before trying to control life. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to control things outside their power. They try to control how others behave. They try to control outcomes. They try to control circumstances. And when things do not go according to plan, frustration takes over. Marcus Aurelius understood a truth that changed his life. You cannot control everything that happens around you. But you can always control your response. This idea is simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Think about how much energy people waste worrying about things beyond their control. They worry about what others think. They worry about events that may never happen. They worry about situations they cannot change. Meanwhile, they neglect the one thing they can control: themselves. Imagine 2 men caught in a storm. The first spends his time complaining about the rain. He curses the weather. He becomes angry and frustrated. The second man accepts the storm. He looks for shelter. He protects himself. He adapts. Both men experience the same storm. But only one responds wisely. Life works the same way. Problems are inevitable. Difficult people will appear. Plans will fail. Unexpected challenges will arise. You cannot stop these things from happening. But you can choose how you respond. Every disciplined person understands this principle. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "How should I respond to this?" That shift in thinking changes everything. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that external events have no power over the mind unless we give them permission. The moment you stop trying to control everything around you and start focusing on controlling yourself, your discipline begins to grow. You become calmer, more focused, more resilient, and far less affected by circumstances. Self-discipline starts with self-control. Without it, every challenge becomes an excuse. With it, every challenge becomes an opportunity. Principle 2. Do what must be done. One of the greatest enemies of discipline is waiting to feel motivated. Many people tell themselves they will start tomorrow. They wait for the perfect mood, the perfect moment, the perfect circumstances. But those conditions rarely arrive. Marcus Aurelius struggled with the same human tendencies. Even as emperor, there were mornings when he did not feel like getting out of bed. Yet he reminded himself that he was born to fulfill a purpose, not to seek comfort all day. This lesson is more relevant today than ever. Modern culture often encourages people to follow their feelings. The Stoics believed feelings are temporary. Purpose is permanent. If you only work when you feel motivated, your progress will always be inconsistent. Some days motivation will appear. Other days it will disappear. But discipline allows you to continue regardless. A story illustrates this beautifully. There was once a stonecutter who worked every day shaping large blocks of rock. His work was exhausting. His hands were covered in blisters. His body often ached. Yet every morning he returned to his task. People asked him how he remained so consistent. He replied, "I do not wait until I feel ready. I simply begin." Years later, the magnificent buildings he helped create stood as proof of his discipline. Success is often hidden inside ordinary daily actions. The workout you complete when you feel tired. The book you read when you would rather scroll through your phone. The task you finish when nobody is watching. These moments build character. Discipline means acting according to your values, not your emotions. The more often you do what must be done, the stronger you become. Principle 3. Train yourself through small victories. Many people fail because they underestimate the power of small actions. They believe transformation must happen quickly. They want immediate results. They expect dramatic changes overnight. The Stoics understood that lasting change takes time. A tree does not grow overnight. A strong body is not built in a week. A disciplined mind develops through consistent effort. Marcus Aurelius knew that greatness is built one action at a time. Every small victory matters. Every promise you keep to yourself matters. Every disciplined decision matters. Imagine a man who decides to improve his life. He begins by waking up just 30 minutes earlier. He reads 10 pages a day. He exercises for 20 minutes. At first, these actions seem insignificant. But after months and years, the results become extraordinary. The small actions created a new identity. Most people focus on outcomes. The Stoics focused on habits. Because habits eventually create outcomes. Each time you follow through on a commitment, you strengthen your self-respect. You prove to yourself that your word means something. And that confidence becomes the foundation of discipline. The greatest achievements often begin with the smallest decisions. Do not underestimate the power of tiny victories. Small victories repeated daily become life-changing success. Principle 4. Embrace discomfort. Human nature seeks comfort. We naturally avoid pain, difficulty, and effort. But Marcus Aurelius understood that comfort can become a trap. A comfortable life may feel pleasant in the moment, but excessive comfort weakens character. Growth requires challenge. Strength requires resistance. Discipline requires discomfort. Think about every valuable skill you have ever learned. It probably felt difficult at first. Learning, training, working, improving. All growth involves discomfort. A young athlete once dreamed of becoming a champion. Every morning before sunrise, he trained while others slept. Some mornings were freezing cold. Some mornings were rainy. Some mornings he felt exhausted. But he continued. Years later, people admired his success. They saw the trophy. They saw the victory. They did not see the thousands of uncomfortable moments that made it possible. The Stoics believed discomfort is a teacher. It teaches patience. It teaches endurance. It teaches resilience. The next time you encounter discomfort, remember this. The obstacle may be developing the very strength you need. The challenge you face today may become the reason for your success tomorrow. Instead of running from discomfort, learn to embrace it. Because growth lives where comfort ends. Principle 5. Focus on the present moment. Many people lose discipline because they become overwhelmed by the future. They think about how far they still have to go. How difficult the journey seems. How many obstacles might appear. As a result, they become discouraged before they even begin. Marcus Aurelius taught a different approach. Focus on the present task. Not next year. Not next month. Not next week. Today. A traveler crossing a desert survived by focusing on the next step. Not the entire journey. A builder constructs a house by laying one brick at a time. Not by worrying about the finished structure. Likewise, discipline is built one day at a time. One choice at a time. One action at a time. When you focus only on today's responsibilities, life becomes more manageable. The future no longer feels overwhelming. You simply do what needs to be done right now. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to concentrate on the duty of the present moment. That advice remains powerful today. You do not need to solve your entire future today. You only need to take the next step. And then another. And another. Those small steps eventually create remarkable results. If these Stoic lessons are helping you strengthen your mindset, subscribe to Unshaken Mind and follow the channel for more timeless wisdom from Marcus Aurelius and Stoic philosophy. In Part 2, we will explore the final 5 Stoic principles that can help you develop unbreakable self-discipline and become mentally unstoppable. Welcome back to Unshaken Mind. In Part 1, we explored 5 powerful Stoic principles for building self-discipline. We learned the importance of controlling ourselves, doing what must be done, winning small victories, embracing discomfort, and focusing on the present moment. These principles form a strong foundation. But discipline is not built in a single day. It is developed through continuous effort and daily practice. Marcus Aurelius understood that the mind must be trained just as carefully as the body. Without discipline, talent is wasted. Without discipline, goals remain dreams. Without discipline, opportunities pass by unnoticed. Now, let us continue with the final 5 Stoic principles that can help you develop an unshaken mind and become the kind of person who follows through no matter what challenges arise. If you are enjoying this journey into Stoic wisdom, subscribe to Unshaken Mind and follow the channel so you never miss future lessons designed to strengthen your character, discipline, and mental resilience. Principle 6. Guard your mind. Marcus Aurelius understood something many people overlook. Your life is shaped by the quality of your thoughts. Every action begins as an idea. Every habit starts as a thought. Every success or failure is influenced by what you repeatedly tell yourself. This is why the Stoics placed enormous importance on protecting the mind. Imagine your mind as a fortress. A fortress does not allow every stranger through its gates. It carefully chooses what enters. Unfortunately, many people allow negativity to enter their minds every day. They constantly consume bad news. They surround themselves with pessimistic people. They repeat limiting beliefs. They focus on problems more than solutions. Over time, these influences shape their thinking. And their thinking shapes their actions. A short story illustrates this principle. There were 2 farmers living side by side. Both faced similar challenges. Both experienced droughts. Both suffered setbacks. Yet one remained optimistic while the other became bitter. When asked why, the optimistic farmer replied, "I choose carefully what I plant in my mind." He understood that thoughts are like seeds. Whatever you plant and nurture eventually grows. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself not to allow negative impressions to control him. Instead, he examined his thoughts carefully. The same practice can transform your life. Pay attention to what you watch. Pay attention to what you read. Pay attention to who influences your thinking. Ask yourself, does this strengthen my mind? Or weaken it? Does this help me become disciplined? Or distract me from my goals? Your mind is your greatest asset. Protect it fiercely. Because a disciplined life begins with a disciplined mind. Principle 7. Accept responsibility for everything you can control. One of the biggest reasons people remain stuck is because they spend too much time blaming external factors. They blame circumstances. They blame the economy. They blame their upbringing. They blame luck. They blame other people. While some obstacles are real, the Stoics believed blame rarely improves your situation. Responsibility does. Marcus Aurelius taught that we should focus our energy on what is within our control. When you accept responsibility, you reclaim your power. A story from a small village illustrates this lesson. Two brothers inherited the same piece of land. The soil was poor. The weather was unpredictable. Conditions were difficult. One brother spent years complaining. He blamed everything around him. The other brother accepted the challenge. He learned new farming techniques. He adapted. He improved the land little by little. Years later, one remained frustrated while the other prospered. The difference was not luck. The difference was responsibility. The Stoics understood that responsibility creates freedom. The moment you stop asking, "Who is to blame?" and start asking, "What can I do?" your life begins to change. Discipline requires ownership. You must take responsibility for your actions, your habits, your decisions, your growth. The more responsibility you accept, the stronger you become. Because responsibility transforms victims into leaders. Principle 8. Value your time as your most precious resource. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the shortness of life. Not because he feared death, but because he understood the value of time. Most people treat money as their most valuable asset. The Stoics disagreed. Money can be regained. Lost opportunities can sometimes return. Time never comes back. Every day that passes is gone forever. Imagine receiving a chest filled with gold every morning. Would you throw it away carelessly? Of course not. Yet many people waste hours every day without realizing what they are losing. A wise old craftsman once told his apprentice, "The difference between ordinary people and extraordinary people is often how they spend their hours." The apprentice remembered those words for the rest of his life. Years later, while others wondered why he had become successful, he understood the answer. He had protected his time. The Stoics believed every moment should be used wisely. That does not mean working every second. Rest is important. Family is important. Reflection is important. But wasted time is different. Marcus Aurelius encouraged people to live with purpose, to avoid drifting through life, to avoid postponing meaningful action. Ask yourself, what am I doing with the hours I have been given? Am I moving closer to my goals? Or further away? The answer to those questions often reveals the quality of your discipline. If you value your time, you will naturally become more focused, more intentional, and more productive. Principle 9. Let your actions speak louder than your words. In today's world, people often talk more than they act. They announce goals. They share plans. They make promises. But many never follow through. The Stoics believed actions matter far more than intentions. Marcus Aurelius rarely spoke about becoming virtuous. He focused on practicing virtue. There is a powerful story about a young student who constantly spoke about his ambitions. Every day he told others about the books he would write, the businesses he would build, the success he would achieve. An elderly teacher listened patiently. One day, the teacher simply said, "Stop telling me. Show me." At first, the student felt offended. But eventually he understood. Words create the illusion of progress. Actions create actual progress. From that day forward, he spoke less and worked more. Years later, his accomplishments spoke for themselves. This lesson remains powerful today. Do not become obsessed with talking about your goals. Focus on pursuing them. Do not seek applause before you earn results. Let your discipline remain quiet. Let your consistency remain steady. And let your achievements speak on your behalf. The Stoics admired those who lived their values instead of merely discussing them. Become one of those people. Principle 10. Become stronger than your excuses. The final principle may be the most important of all. Every person has excuses. Everyone feels tired sometimes. Everyone experiences fear. Everyone faces obstacles. Everyone encounters moments of doubt. The question is not whether excuses will appear. The question is whether you will obey them. Marcus Aurelius faced enormous difficulties throughout his life. Wars, political conflict, disease, personal loss. Yet he continued fulfilling his responsibilities. He understood that discipline means moving forward despite difficulty. A sculptor once received a massive block of marble. To others, it looked ordinary. But the sculptor saw something different. He saw a masterpiece hidden inside. Day after day, he chipped away at the stone. The work was slow. The process was exhausting. But eventually, a magnificent statue emerged. Your excuses are like excess stone. Each excuse removed reveals a stronger version of yourself. Every time you overcome laziness, you grow. Every time you overcome fear, you grow. Every time you choose discipline instead of comfort, you grow. The strongest people are not those who never struggle. The strongest people are those who refuse to surrender to their struggles. Marcus Aurelius believed obstacles can become opportunities. Challenges can become teachers. Difficulties can become sources of strength. When viewed through the Stoic lens, every setback becomes training. Every hardship becomes preparation. Every obstacle becomes part of the path forward. That is why disciplined people continue when others quit. They understand that growth often hides inside resistance. Marcus Aurelius left behind wisdom that continues to guide millions of people centuries later because the battle for self-mastery never ends. The struggle between discipline and distraction still exists. The temptation of comfort still exists. The challenge of remaining focused still exists. But the Stoics showed us a better path. Guard your mind. Accept responsibility. Value your time. Let your actions speak. Become stronger than your excuses. Practice these principles consistently, and over time you will develop a level of discipline that few people ever achieve. You will become calmer during challenges, more focused on your goals, more resilient during setbacks, and far less controlled by emotions, distractions, and excuses. The path is not easy, but it is worth it. Because every step toward self-discipline is a step toward freedom. If you found value in this video, subscribe to Unshaken Mind, follow the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who wants to develop greater self-discipline and mental strength. Leave a comment below and tell us which of these Stoic principles had the biggest impact on you. Thank you for watching Unshaken Mind. And remember the words inspired by Stoic wisdom. The person who masters himself can never truly be defeated.